In 2005, a scientist planted a seed that had been sitting in a clay jar in the Judean desert for 2,000 years. 6 weeks later, it sprouted. The species had been extinct for 5 centuries. This is what happened next. In 1963, Israeli archaeologist Yigael Yadin was excavating Masada, a fortress rising 1,300 feet above the Dead Sea that had been untouched since 73 AD. It was the last stronghold of Jewish rebels against the Roman Empire. When the Romans finally breached it, nearly 1,000 people chose death over surrender. Among the objects Yadin's team found inside ancient storage rooms were small clay jars. Inside the jars, perfectly preserved by the extreme dryness of the desert air, were seeds, date palm seeds, completely intact, roughly 2,000 years old. They were cataloged, stored, and largely forgotten for 40 years. Then, in 2005, a researcher named Elaine Solowey decided to try something that should not have worked. A seed has a biological clock. The longer it stays dormant, the more its DNA degrades. The stored energy it needs to germinate slowly depletes even in perfect conditions. 2,000 years is not just a long time for a seed. It is incomprehensibly beyond what any botanist would consider survivable. Solowey soaked the seed in warm water. She added a solution of hormones and fertilizer. She planted it in soil, and she waited. After 6 weeks, a shoot emerged from the soil. Green, alive, growing. The 2,000-year-old seed had woken up, recognized the right conditions, and begun building a tree. They named it Methuselah. It grew into a healthy male date palm, and when scientists analyzed its DNA, they identified it as a variety that had been completely extinct in the wild for centuries. A species that ancient writers described as producing dates of extraordinary size and medicinal quality. A species the Roman Empire had deliberately destroyed. When Rome conquered Judea, they did not just kill people and burn buildings. They systematically destroyed the date palm groves that were the foundation of the Jewish economy, salting the earth, cutting the trees, eliminating the crop that had sustained the region for thousands of years. They thought they had erased it completely. One seed had other plans. But Methuselah, the date palm, is not even close to the oldest seed ever successfully germinated. In 2012, Russian scientists published results that stopped the scientific world cold. They took plant tissue from Silene stenophylla, a narrow-leafed flowering plant, recovered from permafrost in Siberia. The tissue had been stored frozen in the ground for 32,000 years. 32,000 years? Woolly mammoths were still alive. Modern humans had only just arrived in Europe. The scientists cultured the tissue in a laboratory and grew a complete flowering plant from it. It flowered. It produced seeds. It was alive. And in northern Canada, scientists have germinated Arctic lupine seeds estimated at 10,000 years old, recovered from frozen tundra. Nature has been running its own seed vault for tens of thousands of years. It is called permafrost. And as the Arctic warms and that permafrost thaws, we do not know yet what else is waking up inside it. 3 weeks ago, 4 NASA astronauts flew 252,756 miles around the moon and came back, the farthest any human being has ever traveled from Earth. The entire world watched and talked about how extraordinary it was to go so far and see something so ancient. But while we were looking outward at a dead world that stopped changing billions of years ago, a living archive right here on Earth has been quietly preserving records that no spacecraft has ever matched. The moon is a perfect record of the past because nothing ever changes there. The Earth is a perfect record of the past because everything on it is constantly responding to everything else, and storing those responses in wood, in ice, in pollen, in seeds waiting in clay jars in desert fortresses. We spent billions going to the moon to study ancient history. The oldest living archive in the solar system is right here, and a 2,000-year-old seed just proved it can still grow. Elaine Solowey's date palm, Methuselah, is now over 20 years old. It stands in a garden at Kibbutz Keturah in the Negev desert in Israel. Scientists have since germinated several more ancient seeds from the same Masada site and from other locations across Israel and Jordan. They have successfully grown both male and female plants, which means for the first time in 5 centuries the extinct Judean date palm can reproduce. A species the Roman Empire tried to erase from history is alive again, because one seed waited in a jar in the desert for 2,000 years, waiting for someone to ask the question. This has been The Living Archive. Next week, a fire that has been burning underground continuously for 6,000 years. Nobody started it, nobody can put it out, and it is still burning right now. Subscribe. You will not want to miss that one. See you next Tuesday.